Landers W. He was born into this world on March the 18th, and unfortunately he was taken on from us this week. But his life, I believe, he would say, began with his sobriety date of June the 2nd. And I think that for all of us, including myself, there's a line in the Big Book that absolutely speaks to me about Landers. It says, "I wish that I had what this man has. I'm sure it would work if only I could believe as he believes." And I think that Landers believed in two big books. He believed in the big book of Alcoholics Anonymous, and he also believed in another big book. And so I'm going to open with a reading from Ecclesiastes. "There is a time for everything, a season for every activity under the heavens, a time to be born and a time to die, a time to plant and a time to uproot, a time to heal and a time to build, a time to weep and a time to laugh, a time to mourn and a time to dance, a time to scatter stones and a time to gather them, a time to embrace and a time to refrain from embracing, a time to search and a time to give up, a time to keep and a time to throw away, a time to tear and a time to mend, a time to be silent and a time to speak, a time to love and a time for peace." And at this time, it's a time for us to celebrate both his life and his spirit. And so we'll do that with some singing and some people speaking and sharing from their hearts about his life.
Over the death of my father, and he filled that void for me. He helped me deal with it head on. A lot of what I know today comes from Landers. There's so many young people in this program that their lives are radically different today because of the opportunities that he put in front of them and the hope that he saw in young people to not have to go through all that, garbage in their 30s and 40s. Landers is a man that wasn't afraid of his past because it's where his experience, strength, and hope came to help everybody out. I didn't know what I was going to be able to say, so I decided I wanted to write a song. Landers and I, that was like our big bond. We liked music, we sang. So we wrote this yesterday. Yeah. For you, Landers. Father, Father, where have you gone? Well, I guess it was your time. Though I know your journey's over, I still need some help on mine. Following your footsteps in a world that's so unkind. Trying to feel your fruits, they're 1,000 times my size. Oh, where you go? I still need you. be on the other side. Oh, where did you go? I still need you in my life. You're here, my heart will stay. Father, Father, where did you go? I want to thank you for your time. In my darkest hour, you were the one so sublime. Following your footsteps, world I've never known. Help me take the high road where your light is shown. Where did you go? You happy on the other side. My heart will stay together always. We'll stay, my heart, together always. Love you, Landers.
Would like to come up and share their experiences of Lander's life.
Hi everybody, I'm Mark. I had to just make this very brief because some people who know me know that I'm not a big one on words. And I'm going to do my best. Landers always had to get the last word in, didn't you? Did it again. You know, the past few days, I've been going over some things, statements, pictures, other things written about Landers and his life and his beautiful existence. And I always knew that Landers was a man that was looked up to, respected, confidant, a rock, somebody to lean onto. And that was one of the big parts of his attraction. That's one of the reasons I like him so much. But you know what? This is overwhelming. Just a quick word, a couple of things real quick. I would be remiss if I got up here and did not first mention his family. Landers, he loved his family. And if you know anything about Landers, you know his strength and his caring and his concern. There's nothing far fall from the tree there. This is family. This is a whole group of them. They're all like that. Yeah. A very loving bunch. His mother passed a couple of years ago. And that's when I really saw what that family was about. He's a very, very lucky man. I am a very lucky man. I came down here from Chicago with him. My family's up in Illinois. As soon as I met them, probably my second or third day here, I have a new family. They brought me in just like, no question. Who is this person? No question. And it's been like that ever since. And the whole process that we've gone through this past week, family, and with included me in the whole process. That means so much. Felt very strongly about his family. He felt very strongly about his home life. He was very protective. If anything compromised any of the peace or harmony at home, he's going to do something about it. Tell you, he's going to fix it. And if he didn't know the right way to fix it, he was going to tell you he did. Part of that includes me at home. He took care of me. Somebody goes, took a little time in need of there. That's an understatement. And there are people that have been in and out of our house. Sometimes for one night, sometimes for a year. A lot of them, and I don't remember. I'm kidding. Anybody came in their way, family, just put in that Georgia bag. You talk to Landers for 5 minutes. That's all you know him, and you're in this room right now, and you talk to him for 5 minutes. That's it. Out of your life, out of his life. You're back. He believed in equity. What your background is. He believed in you. He's going to fight for you. He's going to do what he could. Had the old cliche, shirt off his own back and give it to you. Yes. I'm saying it. Part of that, very quickly, I again would be remiss if I didn't mention Landers dogs. Dakota and Sequoia, and been with us for years. New little addition, Marshmallow. She's been with us for a little over a year now, and he would protect them like a person. But they know something's going on too. I'm not sure what yet, but we're trying to have some chats at night. I don't understand. Landers took on a lot of problems. He took on a lot of other people's problems. And after, 19 years, 19 and a half years, you kind of get to know somebody. Landers, strong, very strong. Anything for you. Landers had his own set of struggles. He didn't always let people know what they were. Me, I am extremely privileged that I was in a position where I could find out what those were. And a little bit that I could do, return, I could help him out. I did. He had needs too. The old cliche, a lot of old cliches come out. Somebody dies, you hear them all. One, he's in a better place. It's true. Well, my faith tells me that. He is in a better place. I don't have to exactly think that he should be there right now. There's a lot more done, but you know what? What's done was supposed to be done, and it's done, and now the Creator has said it's time. We're gonna end on a good note. I'm not gonna stay up here anymore. I don't want this to be a big downer. I just had to say some few things. I want to thank everybody for your words of support and encouragement. It's going to take me a long time to sit through everything, and I can't do individual thank yous back right now. Just a general blanket thank you. I have one more thing to say. This one isn't going to make sense to hardly anybody in this room. Those of you who have lived with us might know where I'm going with this. You know, it's okay, it's between me and him right now. Landers, Dick Wolf.
I met Landers about 3 years ago when I came to the Zuckleby show to work as a food runner. I knew nothing about the service industry. I was young, I'm still young, but I was even more naive than I am now. And from day one, I walked into the restaurant with all my stuff on, didn't know where to get an apron, and he looked at me, gave me a hug, and goes, "Oh, you're cute." First words that Landers ever said to me. Landers was a magnificent man, and I can't tell you what his favorite color is or what his favorite food was to eat, but I can tell you that his favorite Muppet was Kermit. He brought me into the Zelko family, and from there he brought me into the Slick Willie's family. And just a testament, I probably know about 6 people or 7 people in this room. That shows how many circles he touched.
Yeah.
How many different people he went to. Young, old, gay, straight, black, white, it didn't matter to him. And I will never forget, last year before I went off to college, I'm a theater major, and I was gonna drop theater, and I was gonna go into English. And I told him that at Slick Willie's, it was just me and him, and he slapped me. He said, "Don't you dare do that. Don't you dare drop theater," because he knew it was a passion of mine. He knew it was something in my heart, and he's the reason why I'm now a triple major in college. I'm doing 3 different types of theater because of him. And when I got the call on Monday around 12:30, I collapsed. I didn't know what to say, I didn't know what to do. I scared the shit out of my roommates, that's for sure. And I don't want this to be sad, but every time I think about this ceremony before it actually happened, every time I thought about me speaking here, all that I wanted was it to be the scene from Ring, where Angel's funeral is. Because that's who he was to me. Maureen says in that scene that Angel said she was lucky to be friends with all of them, but they were the lucky ones. We're the lucky ones in this room. We're lucky to be blessed by Landers' presence and his loud, loud laugh and that big, giant, goofy smile he has. So Landers, thank you. I miss you. And I'm lucky that I do. Thank you.
I didn't know if I could actually do this, so I had to write something down. Otherwise, I wasn't going to be able to. First time I met Landers, I had just sobered up. In typical Landers fashion, he pointed at me and said, "Hey, I don't know you. Who are you?" I knew at that moment this was to be my best friend. He had what I wanted: charisma, compassion, and irresistible charm. He taught me so much. He taught as much as you were willing to learn, and I learned much. It never surprised me when we would go play pool. Instead, we would end up 12-stepping outside the bar. And we paid for all that time too, mind you. We decided at the last moment we'd go on a road trip, to Austin, or clubbing, or some other just random activity. He taught me how to live in the moment, how to laugh, even in the most inappropriate moments, and to be okay with it. We did so many things together. We talked every morning, usually about the boys from the night before. We'd sneak away from our jobs, sometimes still getting paid, and go to Starbucks. Make the straight guys behind the bar nervous as hell. No matter where we were, we had a blast. He taught me how to live life to the fullest. When he learned that I liked pool, he insisted that we go play. I didn't know he was a pool shark at the time. So it really soon became the normal hangout for us. And Landers being Landers, there was soon a group of us, which of course included a gaggle of cute boys. Those cute boys became his children that he loved and was fiercely protective over. Sometimes I felt like a damn married couple with a bunch of damn kids there. The day before he passed, we were up with Slicks. We usually played until we were at least tied up and he called it a night. That night he insisted on just one more game. We had already put our stakes up. We had already tapped out. But we played one more game. And of course he cheated and he won. While we were outside smoking, he told me he felt like things were going to be okay and that he was at peace. We said our goodbyes and we said I love you at the same time, which of course made us laugh. Look, I will always cherish the memories I have. I will honor his life by giving away that which he gave to me so freely. He left me with all these damn children and the damn Kermit the Frog tattoo on my leg, but I love him even for that. I couldn't have asked for a better best friend. I love you, Landers.
For the past week, I'd like to thank everybody for coming out to celebrate Landers' life. Just so many people in their lives. He was my dad, and I was his son, and he told me that all the time. And he'd always say, "I love you." I go, "Yeah, yeah." And he knew exactly that I loved him too, you know. A lot of people have known him longer than I have, but in the short time I've gotten to know him, we were closer than ever. To have known Landers is the biggest blessing and privilege anyone on this earth could have. There's never a dull moment, whether it was sitting in the town home, you know, trying to go to sleep and hearing him yell "Take Wolf" from downstairs and no one else was around. And hearing him yell, "I won 20 million points for me." I had the privilege of living with Landers and Mark. They saved me. Landers taught me how to be an adult. I was heading down a really bad path, and he taught me how to be responsible and how to pay bills on time, and how to go to bed early because I gotta wake up the next day early. I never understood that. I always stayed up until 4 and just screwed myself the next day. People say I've always been told that you can judge someone's life on what people say when they're gone. And Landers is the man that I always strive to be. I will always remember long talks in the car going to work or to play pool. He was my answer to life. If I had a problem, I could just call him and I knew he would have the solution. So with him, I was never afraid. He was such a fighter. He went through so many things in his life, and he always came out on top no matter what. And if not on top, then pretty damn close. He always told me, as long as Mark and the dogs are okay, and they have a roof over their head, then I'm happy. And that's how he was. He would give anything before he would take. I'm actually catching myself saying things he taught me. Letters will always live in our hearts, and there is nothing more beautiful than that. I'll miss his big smile he always had on. He could brighten up a room with just his smile. I remember that the Muppets movie came out, and he forced me, Jason, Winston, and other people to go, as much as we didn't want to go. And when that first theme song came on with the Muppets, his face was just like a 5-year-old at Christmas, just so happy and singing along with it. And I would actually hear him louder than the movie. Oh. Dude. Oh man. Just, there's nothing I can do to repay what he's given me. He's given me so much, and no materialistic thing can take that back. And there's nothing I can do besides pay it forward, just like he did. He would never take from me, even if I had the money. I had $80 one time to my name, and I had to wait 2 weeks till my next pay period, and he couldn't afford his heart meds, and I forced him to fucking take my $80, and he wouldn't want it, because he didn't want to take my money. And that's how he was. He wanted to make sure everybody else was okay before he was. He was such a beautiful person, and he saved so many lives. Just looking at Facebook and seeing all the posts of people, it's just unbelievable. It's just so many people. It's like, how the fuck did you have time for that? He worked so much. He got me a job at Zelko Bistro, and that's really when I started to learn to be responsible. And if it wasn't for him, I wouldn't be who I am today. I love him. That's, probably the first time I didn't go, yeah, back at him. The best part is he knew exactly what that meant. He'll always be here. I have a Kermit The Frog tattoo as well. There's just so much things I can say about him. But there's just not enough time in the world. I tried writing stuff, and I was like, I could fill a whole journal right now, But there's just a hole in my heart because he was there. I love you. I love all you, whether I know you or not, because that's what Landers would have done. Thank you.
I want to tell the story really quickly about Landers because I'm sitting there thinking he'd be hurt if I didn't. And I was in the rooms with Landers for years and years. We've sat together and things, but that's not how we connected. We didn't connect as gay people, and we didn't connect as alcoholics. He and I always connected about acting. From the very beginning, he let me know that he was an actor. I'm a director, and he wanted to talk about acting, and he wanted to talk about movies. We never got enough time to do it, but we took every second that we had, right? And he always wanted to work together, and I did not know, I'd never seen him. Many of you know him as an actor much better than I do. But I believe that he was talented, no question about that, right? So a few years ago, we got an opportunity. A lot of the folks around here know that we did this play, an adaptation of Gone with the Wind called Gone with the Gin. And I wanted all the roles to be cross-gendered, and so obviously I went to Landers because he was the perfect mammy, right? We almost couldn't do the show without Landers. Once I had that in my head, I'm like, no, it has to be Landers. It has to be Landers. Landers has to play mammy. And he said, yes, but I don't have, I told him the rehearsal schedule, and he worked during all the rehearsals. And I was like, well, okay, get 2 days off right before we open, before we do our one performance. 2 days off, and we'll get you 2 rehearsals. And make sure that you know all your lines, because all we're going to have time to do is block you into the scenes, right? And we won't really be able to rehearse the actual performance, but that's okay, because it'll be you. And he was willing to do that. So, and he did, and by the way, he did. He showed up and he knew all his lines, right? And we blocked him in, and everyone was always already ready for this. The cast knew, it was a big cast, and they all knew that we only had Landers like twice, maybe 3 times max before the show. And I staged this moment. He was supposed to say a line off stage and then come in and stop. And then do the rest of the scene. And the rest of the scene was really difficult because Scarlett was tied to a post, and he was the only one that could move, right? And so that meant he had to make the scene work. It would be a disaster if it wasn't for him. So he busted his ass. We worked really hard. He was sweating. It was hot. It was amazing. And he was awesome, right? But then for the next, like, whatever, 2 weeks, he would come to me and call me. He was like, I don't want to stop there. I don't want to do that. Why are you making me do that? I don't want to stop there. And I'm like thinking to myself, I mean, because they're gonna explode when you come out. I mean, this is gold for me. I mean, this could be, a minute-long applause. But he didn't believe that. He didn't believe that. He was like, no, they're just gonna sit there. It'll be like an elevator in there. I'm like, no, just come out and say your line and then stop. Just stand there. Just stand there. Just stand there. And then go do the rest of the scene. So I wasn't budging. And then the night came, there's 200-300 people in the room. It's kind of a big audience, right? And play's going on, it's about 5 minutes in, and we hear his voice off stage, and then he comes in, and he says his line, and the room just blew up. It just blew up. I mean, everyone was like, yay! I mean, for a full, well, as long as you want them to do it, that's how long they did it. And I wanted to share that with you guys who didn't see it that night, who love Landers. Because that's, something he would have, he was a really good actor. He was a really, really good actor. He prepared, he worked hard, and he lived his life that way, I think. We weren't really close, but what I observed of him is that he was a really loving man, and he took his life, he took his craft seriously, his craft of being Landers. He took that seriously, and we got to see that night. So I just want to share that with you guys.
My name is Leroy W. I'm alcoholic. Landers was my younger brother. We grew up, traditional. Hold on, my phone rang. Sorry. Hello? Landers? I'm at your memorial, man. What? No, man, I'm at the memorial right now. How many people? About 300? About 300. Well, if you see why you asked me then, damn. No, I'm kind of standing in the back. Courtney saved everybody I see but me, so. Yeah, the Laughter Club, that's what I said, yeah. Oh, yeah, they decorated the place real nice, man. They got a disco ball in case the 70s come back or something. I don't know. Yeah, Deborah sitting out there, yeah. Well, man, why didn't you, huh? Well, look, let me ask you one thing. Why did you have to plan this on the same time at the Texans game? Why is that, man? Do you know who won? Can you let me know who gonna win next week? That'd be real, real helpful. Yeah, a lot of people been up and talked, man. Some guy that you slapped, he been up. He's an actor now. Apparently he's acting like a waiter right about now. That's kind of how it is in LA anyway. Some lady that directed you in a movie with Mammy or something. It should have went on. I understand, man. Okay. Look, man, I got to get back to your memorial, man. And let me say this before you get off the phone, though. Why you had to do this 10 days before my birthday? This is gonna screw me up for the rest of my fucking life, man. Really? Yeah. Okay, man, I will not talk about my next performance in Houston, man, because I can't afford to give you 10%, The phone was real clear, man. You must got real good service up there, huh? Oh, that's good, man. Yeah. Well, let me ask you this one question, man, being in AA. I always want to know, hey, man, do they have AA meetings in heaven, man? They got AA meetings there? Good news and bad news. Oh, what's the good news? Oh, they got AA meetings there. Oh, that's pretty cool, man. AA meetings, oh, that's great, man. What's the bad news? I'm next month's speaker. What the hell? Man, get off the phone, man. I gotta talk to you later. I gotta talk to these people now. You gotta scare them. About 2009, I was in a spin class. Because since I've been in AA, I try to do more healthy things, but I grew up in a predominantly black family. Black dysfunctional family. My mother and father were married. So, why the hell we the only one got a daddy on the street, I was in a spin class, and I'm driving the spin bike trying to exercise. There's this beautiful woman sitting next to me that's half naked in the spin class, and next to me is my friend that's also a fireman. And during this spin class, I started having chest pains. I thought it was heartburn or whatever. I go home that night. I went with my friend to the to the fire department, because they do this. If y'all don't know it, you can go get your EKG checked at the heart there. And he said, a little high, man, but nothing I would be concerned about, whatever. So I went home. I stayed by myself. And while I was home, my chest just started killing me. I couldn't sit up. I couldn't lay down. I got on my knees. That was the only place I felt comfortable. And just like every good African-American brother, when you're in pain, you start crying. I start hollering for my mama. Mama! It was about 2 o'clock in the morning. I called my mother's house, and my sister answered. And she said, Winfred, which is my middle name, Winfred said his chest is hurting, and I heard my mom in the background. Tell that boy he's just having a heart attack. It's running his family. I said, well, damn, a heart attack. So I'm like, well, I got a 911 or whatever. She said, don't worry about it. Landers, 5 minutes later, was there. We drove to the hospital. He drove me. He took me to the ER, and I'm still being a comic. I'm still making jokes and stuff as we're going through the ER, because they had like these 5 or 6 doctors. When you say chest pain, they come out of the woodwork. Some of them was dropping their coffee and stuff, and donuts was all on top of my bed. I'm like just going crazy. I hope somebody taping this. This is gold. But anyway, so I'm going through this, and I looked up, and it was like an Asian doctor. It was a white female, a white male, and a black female. And I'm like, damn, is this Bentalb or is this Grey's Anatomy? What the hell is going on here? Landers just took control. He said, yeah, this is my brother, age 53, whatever I was at that time. A history of high blood pressure, cardiac myoscopy or some stuff he did. I think he was making up terms, actually. But he did all of that stuff, man, and he said, they gave him some papers I couldn't sign or nothing, and Landers Landers signed it and said, yeah, go on, you got your permission and stuff. And he said, Winfrey, this is what they're gonna do. They're gonna go through the femoral artery. I said, the female artery? He said, no, the femoral artery. And they're gonna do an angioplasty. I said, is that all right? They're like, yeah, it's fine, don't worry about it, I got this, you know. I'm like, this is like a scene from Night and Day, the movie and stuff. So they do this, and I don't know where Landers is. After they finish, they get me good and ready and stuff, and they all of a sudden I'm by myself, and I don't see my brother, and I'm like, hey, I feel great now. So I got up and started walking out of the emergency room. I was like, I pulled out all the stuff or whatever, and I was like, and then so I come out, and the doctor said, no, you got to get back. You just had a heart attack, so you know, whatever, and then I'm like, no, I'm gonna leave. So nobody could get me in line and said, get your ass back in that goddamn bed, old man. You just had a damn heart attack, you know. So I said, really? And so my point of this is my brother saved my life, basically. My second point is I think heart attacks, because this woman was very, very attractive, very. I think heart attacks are induced in black men by fine white women. So, you ever notice how everything white is dangerous for you? Sugar, cocaine, what the hell? Flour. I don't feel like a good big brother. When I got into college, I just kept going, you know. And I was thinking about it when I looked at his body on Monday. I never taught my little brother how to shave. Definitely didn't ever teach him how to pick up women. So, and I pursue comedy show business as a result of little plays we used to do at our house. We used to wait for it to rain and make a rain tent, which is just go and get some sheets off the bed and put 2 broomsticks up, and then there was like a rain tent, and we have rain tent shows. And Landers wrote his first song when he was about 7 or 6. It was called Washing Machine. Sing a little bit of it. Washing machine, washing machine, washing machine, washing machine, washing machine, washing machine, washing machine. Get your dirty drawers clean. In his birthday last year, I went to the Slick Willie's, and his friends just, you know, were really nice to me, and I loved my brother regardless of anything else. You know, right now I'm feeling so messed up because he came and got me and took me to the hospital when I was having my heart attack. It's not the way it worked out for me. I didn't get a chance to do that for him. Such a shock and such a surprise. He's full of energy, he's full of life, and I tell you, much more talented than me. I just pursued it because I got to a point in life after a divorce that it was either that or put a bullet in my head. And probably the only one that knows that in my family was my brother. And I just gave up everything, the degree in architecture I've been working, and I started out very, very slow. And as a result, he was always very, very, very supportive. It's on YouTube where we sang a few months, last year at my birthday. And for the first time in a long time, most of my family was there. And I remember it being like a really eclectic moment. And when he left, he was the last person I saw then, and he said, man, I'm so glad you pursued your passion, man. And, you know, I'm proud of you. And Thanksgiving, the last thing that I remember, we sung the Christmas song. We always did it kind of in a funny way, and I was like, man, this is gonna be cool for Christmas. We can do this again. I guess the only way that's gonna happen is if you give me another call. Look.
There's a switch. Pull the mic switch to you.
I loved my brother tremendously, and I'm gonna miss him greatly, deeply. Thank you.
Mimi, I am one of the waitresses at Slick Willie's, and I didn't know Landers for a long time, but I transferred from another store to Montrose, and my first time meeting him, I walked up and I introduced myself. I was like, "Hi, my name is Mimi. Would you like something to drink?" And he said, "Who are you, boo?" I was like, Mimi. He's like, "Oh, okay, I'm good. I was like, "Okay." But make a long story short, like, he touched me. Within a few months that I did know him, you know, he was really sweet. His favorite drink was half Diet Coke with cranberry and a lot of cherries. And he would get mad at me if we didn't have cherries. But he was a wonderful person to be around, you know. He made a lot of people smile. Like, his smile is what attracted me to him, you know. His characteristics and his goofiness, of course, but he would give me money to put in the jukebox, and we would jam some Mariah Carey and dance. And, you know, I mean, he was just a fun person to be around. And I mean, it hurts for the loss, but then I still think of him saying, "Boo, I'm okay. I'm all right." And I know he's okay. You know, and I want everybody else to know that he's okay. You know, death hurts, and I'm dealing with a couple deaths in my family right now as well, family related. You know, so dealing with this, I wanted to be here to be a support system, even though I did not know him that long, just a couple months. A lot of y'all know him way much longer than I have. But just the few months that I've known him, he's touched me in a tremendous way. You know, so he will be missed, and y'all come out to Slick Willie's and keep his memory alive.
Hi, my name is Ian. A lot of y'all have known me that long. I've known Landers since February 16th, 2009. And the reason I remember it that way is this leads into some of the stories of how virtuous he was. I was living on the streets, strung out, was in bad shape, homeless. Family had given me up to whatever I wanted to do. And I didn't want to get sober, but I walked over to Lambda because I needed to bum a cigarette from somebody. And heard this loud laugh, and I thought, target acquired. And asked him if I could bum a cigarette, and we got to talking. And he asked me where I lived, and I said, around. He was like, bullshit, where do you live? And I was like, I live on the streets. He said, oh, no. We need to talk. And went out and got supper, and later that night, he gave me a job, and I work on computers. I wasn't that good at the time, but I went to his house and did a little bit of work, and he paid me honest wage and dropped me off. And I decided to not get sober, and so I ended up going to jail that night. And when I got out of jail, I don't actually cry very much, but this is surprisingly hard. When I got out of jail, I don't know why, but the only number I could think to call was his. And I called him, and I just told him what had happened. And he asked me if I wanted to change my life. He asked me if I wanted to be different. And I lied. I said yes. I didn't know what I wanted. But living with Landers twice over the course of about 3 years, with some jail time in between. All the lessons that he taught me have made me who I am today. My wife and I were on Facebook and the internet going through some of those pictures that are up there last night. And a lot of them, I mean, I could tell her, I was like, this is that, and this is that. And at one point I stopped and I told her, do you realize that we probably wouldn't be married and my son would probably not have come into the world if it wasn't for Landers? I was on a track straight to hell. I promise you that, and I know that. I was in a bad way. And Landers, with his self-sacrificing, his charm, his care, his charisma, I don't think I can say self-sacrificing enough. He will give the shirt off his back for you, and he's done that several times for me. And it was such a gratifying event in my life when I had gotten sober. I had my shit together. I had all this stuff. We ended up becoming friends again by accident. Something happened with our emails that had intertwined, and he was getting phone calls from AT&T that were supposed to go to me, and he called a number that was sent to his email, and it was mine. And we ended up meeting at Starbucks. We made amends to him, and it was so cool. All the bullshit that had happened, we do have a mixed past, but all the bullshit that had happened between us, he just threw it to the side, and I was shocked at how he just threw it to the side. It just wasn't part of the equation anymore. And I got to start off with a fresh friendship with this fucking incredible person. For the people that don't know, I'm not the most eloquent speaker, I apologize. For anybody here that doesn't know him that well, he was a fucking incredible person. And Winford, you sound just fucking like him. Where'd he go? Damn it to hell. It was a little jarring when Leroy was talking, because he does sound a lot like him. He got to meet my son, he got to meet my wife, and I got to tell him the truth, which was that none of that would have happened without him. Because whether it was him or God using him or whatever, he was there when I needed him every time. And more often than not, I didn't deserve his help, but he still gave it to me. I will miss him. Thank you.
Landers for 18 years, and 9 of them have been in these rooms. And I don't know that I've ever seen anyone that exemplifies the spirit of service and the spirit of working with others that Landers demonstrated in the 9 years that I've known him here. I go on vacations, he'd come over every time. I call him and ask him to come take care of my dogs and watch my place. And he never said no once. He never hemmed and hawed, said, well, I might be busy. He always said, let me know when and where and I'll be there. And for that, I'm eternally grateful. If anyone knows any dog walkers to take care of me, I'm going to need one. But I wanted to share 2 quick stories with you. But one, we're sitting in the meeting in room 3, and I think the topic might have been, what keeps you sober? What do you do today to keep sober? And he would talk about one of those people that would go to the 6:30 meeting, get up that early in the morning to go to a meeting. And then he'd talk about the people at 12:15 who would use their lunch hour to go to meetings. And then the people at 5:15 who would race after getting off work at 5. And then he would talk about those that went to the 8 o'clock p.m. meetings. Because they would go home and primp, and they would go home and have dinner and shower. And those people could never get sober at 8 p.m. He, a matter of fact, told all of us that. And the other story is that when we're all newly sober, Scott D and Landers
David Benoit and I made some brownies to take up to the center for a bake sale. And it was this huge plate of brownies. I don't know why I couldn't attend, but we entrusted these brownies to Landers and Scott did. Well, this was early in the morning. They had a lot of errands to run that day. But apparently, they ate every one of those brownies. They never made them to the bake sale. And when I asked him about it, he goes, well, we came and there were 6 left. We were too embarrassed to put a plate of 6 brownies out. So we ate the other 6. Landers, I'm gonna miss you greatly.
Yeah, I got to meet Landers back in '04 when I was sober for 2 years, and we became friends when we would get those brownies at David's house. And it was a fundraiser we had for the Roundup play that we were in, and it was that sobriety show by Mark Deaton, and it was all these characters from the '70s, and we were, Landers, Carrie, and I were soberettes, and we were this little 3-person little singing duo that came out, and just during all these acts, we would just show up and start singing parts of the songs. And so we had practiced so much, and if you're in the Roundup play or ever been involved, you know how much work goes into it, and we were just through. I mean, we had practiced that day for like, I guess we did it 3 times, and then we took like an hour break to eat, and it was time to get dressed for the show. And you know, we were, it was time for us to go on, and in the middle of the whole thing, and he and I got in this big giant fight right when we're about to walk out and go on and start singing our number. And we were calling each other every cuss word that we could, and Carrie was like, guys, stop, and everything, and we were just fighting about something, I don't even remember what it was, but we were just so tired and everything. And so the minute our number came on, we just immediately got into character and just went out and started smiling and singing and dancing, and like nothing had ever happened. And after that, we went together, and we apologized to each other in the back, and we've been friends ever since. And you know, I didn't spend a lot of time with him in these past few years, but you know, someone that could just completely forget and not hold grudges like we could have, and you know, early on taught me, you know, that step 10, just basically, you know, not leaving that scene or that place and going out and just forgetting it and being friends, and none of that matters. You know, that was early on that I learned that, and it was from Landers. So you know, he had a lot of love to give everyone, and like someone said earlier, I mean, I just always would sit back and say, you know, how much time does this guy have? Because I mean, he was just involved in so many people's lives, and you know, if anything, that's something that I can strive for, is to really just be a part of people's lives and make a difference. So, thanks.
Hi, I'm Michael. You guys have all been really good. This is terrifying. Being in front of this many people. There's an old saying that is usually affiliated with sports, and that is, leave it on the field. What that means is, whatever you do, make sure to leave it on the field. You know, give it all you got, because, you know, when the bell rings, that's it. You know, there's no more do-overs. You know, the game is over. If you give everything you got, you can look back with confidence, knowing that there's no regrets. Landers and I have been friends for over 15 years. We met on a dance floor in Rice Village. We've been bound together ever since. We've laughed and loved, cried together, mostly laughed though. His sense of humor was intoxicating. There are a couple comments that I've heard over the past week, but the one I liked the most was by my younger cousin Jason. Jason, raise your hand. Single, by the way. Straight, boo. Yeah, Landers already tried. Jason respectfully declined. Anyway, Jason said heaven just got a lot louder. I believe this is true. Landers had such a sweet soul. He left it all in the field. Not only in, there's actually a performance, I'm not sure if we're watching the video, but when he's performing with his brother, I mean, he just gives it everything he has. But yeah, he left it all in the field, not only in that performance, but in life. He loved big, and he gave life everything he had to the very end. He was my brother, and I'm truly thankful for having known him. Thanks.
Hello, my name's Stephen. I feel really blessed to have had Landers in my life. I'm glad I came up here later on because I have to worry about bursting into tears first. I'm going to really, really miss the sound of his voice. I will never forget his smile. It lit up a room. I had to have sunglasses. I almost got a tan one time. He smiled so much in the room. It was just a wonderful human being, and to me, Landers was a stand-by-you man. You know, he was always a stand-by-you man. We met about 8 years ago. We were both going through some things at the time. We were both going through the same thing, but he seemed to always have the energy and just the presence of mind and being so grounded to comfort me. We would read from this little book here. It's called The Soul's Companions by T.N. Dayton, and had a little spiritual reading every day. And we were sitting on my back porch one afternoon reading this. And it has a daily reading for each day, and we would sometimes skip through the book and see if we could find something that applied to what we were going on that time. And we came upon this reading here, and Landers told me, this is 7.5 years ago, he said, I want you to read that at my funeral if I go before you. And somehow I knew I would, that he was going to go before me. I don't know how I knew that, but I knew that I would do that. And I kept that book. I had to wore it out and had to order another one, but I marked that page. So I'm going to read this to you. And notice how this little book goes. This gives you a reading of what it means, and there's some famous person gives a little meaning too. So it says death. I daily entertain my own death. My days here are limited. I do not have time to waste in hating and resenting life. I will never again be in this particular circumstance as this particular person. If I waste it, it is gone. All the lessons that I need to know in order to grow spiritually are written into this present moment. The people and situations that are in my life are here for me to learn from. They are meant for me. My deepest learnings are at the tips of my fingertips. I will be a scholar of my life, a student of my day. My own death waits for me at a time unknown. I will live today as if it were my last. Every day potentially is. The meaning is I am aware. Follow it. This is by Teddy Roosevelt. Only those are fit to live who do not fear to die. And none are fit to die who have shrunk from the joy of life and the duty of life. Both life and death are parts of the same great adventure. I love Landers, and I'm going to miss him terribly. And I think that what everyone's come here and said today about him is a testimony to what kind of human being that he was. Thank you.
Jason. Sometimes known as the other Jason. But I get nervous coming up here. I mean, it's not about me. You know, it's about a person that I remember meeting out front, smoking a cigarette after the 5:15 meeting one night, a little over 4 years ago. And we quickly became very close friends. And I've said this before, like, he's the most loyal friend that a person could possibly have. And there's no doubt about that. I mean, there were many times in my life, going through the challenges of my own life, where he was there for me. All I had to do was, you know, call him up. He never, ever would not answer. He was always there, you know, for me. And I'm sitting there wondering, like, wow, how do you have so much time for so many people? He was a true friend. He'll truly be missed. One of the stories I remember, I got myself stranded over in San Francisco, and somehow or another I was talking to him over the phone, and he got me a bus ticket back and got me back safely. I can't, the number of things, I can't remember the number of things that, the number of times that he was there in my life to help, to be of service. He will be missed. I'm grateful to have had him as a friend in my life. So, thank you.
My name is Courtney. I also wrote something down because it's hard to think. I met Landers in 1997 by pure fate, which is how many of us in these rooms first connected with him. He waited on me in the restaurant Tortuga, where we clicked so fast and so well, I paid somebody to finish his shift so he could sit down at the table with me and drink with me. And this was a long time ago. And we started talking and we never stopped. I hired him as my first employee when I started my own company. He did everything. He always did everything. And he was with me another 12 years. So when he was with you people at night, he was with me during the day. Eating Popeye's chicken for lunch too frequently. During those years, we both got sober, we settled down, and we built the fabric of our lives, our families. As I got married, got pregnant, became a mom and a wife, and he was there for me. He did his step work, and he found his family and his life here at Lambda. There were sponsors and sponsees. He grew deep, enduring friendships, as you can see here today. He found a special joy in the newcomers and couldn't resist a hard luck story. He biked and he bowled and he shot pool and he sang. He helped friends move and helped me move every time I moved from one place to another, regardless of where it was. He owned more cars than anybody I've ever known. We both slipped and came back to the program and went through the process of realizing that we belonged in these rooms together. We made money, we lost money, we gained lots of pounds and we lost lots of pounds. We were together on 9/11. And he was the person whose hand I held when the Trade Center towers fell. All in all, we laughed so much more than we cried. As I look back, I realize in a world where all of us, perhaps in these rooms more than others, have fear, distrust, shame, and suspicion, fresh wounds, and old baggage. Landers was the one person I knew I could trust to leave his own agenda at the door and focus on my problem, your problem, anybody's problem. But he left himself at the door, and he was able to do that in a way I've never known another person to be able to do. I could always trust him to do the next right thing. And that meant I could always trust him with everything, big and small. I know a lot of people here feel the same way. When things were different, black, white, gay, straight, old, young, sweet, sour, or where there was discord, you could add Landers to the mix and he would make it better. He would be the equilibrium that made things okay. So instead of adding, I think Landers instead filled the space between us in a way that I've never known another person to be able to do. So I think Landers is what made us all stronger. I hadn't realized how rare it was until I had to think about living without it. God had a special plan for Landers. And he brought Landers to these rooms for a reason. And this is where he belonged, and he found his life. And he was fulfilled. He wouldn't have said it was too soon or that he couldn't go. He wouldn't have said that he really enjoyed the ride. Thanks for the opportunity to share. I'll miss my friend. Thanks for an opportunity to be part of all of your lives.
Around this town, and he sounds like he would have been one of mine too. My name is Yvonne Washington. I'm a vocalist here in town, and so I'd like to do a little mixture of something. This old song was done in a movie, Imitation of Life, and it was sung by the most famous, by Amy Jackson. Mama thought she was awesome. So I'll do that, and then I'm gonna mix up a little bit and stuff, okay? Soon I will be done with the troubles of this world, the troubles of this world. Yes, the troubles of this world. Soon I will be done with the troubles of this world. I'm going home to live with God. No more weeping and wailing. There'll be no more weeping and wailing. There'll be no more weeping and wailing. I'm going home to live with God. And now I do a little tune by Mr. Louis Armstrong. I see trees of green, red roses too, and I see them bloom for me and for you. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world. I see skies of blue and clouds of white. Yes, it's a bright, blessed day and a dark, sacred night. Then I think to myself, what a wonderful world. The color of the rainbows are pretty in the sky, also on the faces of people passing by. I see friends shaking hands, saying, how do you do? They are really saying, everybody say, I love you. Oh, you can do better than that. Think about it. They are really saying, I love you. I hear babies cry, then I watch them grow. They'll learn much more than I will ever know. Then I think to myself, what a wonderful world. Everybody sing. Then I think to myself, what a wonderful world. Oh, yeah. I wish I had known that little darling. I know he would have been one of my babies.